You shared some great resources with me from the Cleveland Clinic and Australia's Better Health Channel. I'm eager to unpack these and explore just how this intricate system protects us.
It's easy to overlook just how much is going on beneath the surface keeping us healthy. And these sources offer a great overview.
Yeah, so to start, how do these sources define the immune system? I'm curious to see how they frame it.
Both describe it as a complex network of organs, cells, and proteins that work together. Think of it as a highly coordinated security force operating throughout your body, always on alert for anything that shouldn't be there.
Okay, so it's not just one thing, but a whole system. What are some of the key players in this security force?
Well, you have white blood cells, which are like the patrol officers constantly on the lookout for invaders. Then there are antibodies, which are more like specialized agents targeting specific threats. And the complement system is like a rapid response team, amplifying the immune response when needed.
So they each have their own roles. Are they organized in any particular way?
Absolutely. Your lymphatic system, with its network of lymph nodes, acts like a surveillance network, filtering out waste and transporting those immune cells. Then you have organs like the spleen, bone marrow, and thymus, which are like training grounds and headquarters where immune cells are produced, stored, and matured.
Wow, it's amazing how all these pieces work together.
Yeah.
So how does this system actually recognize a threat? It seems like it would be difficult to distinguish between what belongs in the body and what doesn't.
That's what's so fascinating. The immune system can differentiate between your body's own cells, the self, and foreign invaders, the non-self. When it detects an invader, it triggers a cascade of events mobilizing different types of immune cells and releasing chemicals to fight off the threat.
So it's a targeted response, not just a general alarm.
Exactly, and there are different levels of this response, which is where the concept of innate versus acquired immunity comes in.
Can you explain the difference between those? I always get them mixed up.
Innate immunity is what you're born with, your body's first line of defense. It's a rapid, non-specific response to any invader. Think of it as a set of pre-programmed defenses ready to act immediately.
And acquired immunity, that's the one that develops over time.
Right. Acquired immunity is a more sophisticated system that develops as you're exposed to different pathogens throughout your life. It's how your body learns to recognize and target specific threats.
So is this where vaccines come into play? I've always wondered how they work on a deeper level.
Exactly. Vaccines cleverly exploit the power of acquired immunity. They introduce a weakened or inactive form of a germ to your body, allowing your immune system to develop antibodies and memory cells without you actually getting sick. That way, if you ever encounter the real deal, your body is primed and ready to fight back effectively.
It's like giving your immune system a preview of the enemy so it can prepare a defense strategy. So we've talked about how this amazing system works when it's functioning properly. But what happens when things go wrong? What are some of the ways the immune system can malfunction?
That's when we start to see a range of immune system disorders. These can broadly be categorized as either a weak immune system or an overactive immune system.
Okay, let's start with a weakened immune system. What causes that to happen?
A weakened immune system, also known as immunodeficiency, can result from various factors. Sometimes it's inherited, meaning you're born with it. There are primary immunodeficiency diseases like CVA or SCID that affect the immune system from birth.
And what about things that develop later in life? Are there any conditions that can weaken the immune system?
Yes, many medical conditions can impact immune function. The Cleveland Clinic mentions type 2 diabetes and cancer as examples. Both sources point out that HIV/AIDS can severely compromise the immune system, leaving the body vulnerable to infections.
What about medications? Can they affect the immune system?
Absolutely. Medications like corticosteroids, immunosuppressants, and chemotherapy drugs can suppress the immune system, which is sometimes necessary for their therapeutic effect, but it can also leave individuals more susceptible to illness.
So if someone has a weakened immune system, what kind of signs should they look out for?
Frequent infections are a major red flag. Additionally, slow wound healing, persistent fatigue, unexplained weight loss, and recurring fevers can all be signs of a compromised immune system. If you experience any of these, it's important to consult with your doctor.
It sounds like those are good indicators that something might be off. Now, what about an overactive immune system? What happens in that situation?
That's when your immune system becomes a bit too enthusiastic and starts attacking your body's own healthy cells as if they were invaders. This is what leads to autoimmune diseases.
I've heard of those, but I'm not sure I fully understand them. What are some common examples?
Some well-known autoimmune diseases include lupus rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes, and multiple sclerosis. These conditions can affect different parts of the body and cause a wide range of symptoms.
And what about allergies? Do those fall under the umbrella of an overactive immune system as well?
Yes, allergies are another example. In this case, the immune system overreacts to a typically harmless substance like pollen or certain foods, triggering an inflammatory response that leads to those familiar allergy symptoms.
So whether it's a weak or overactive immune system, there are many ways things can go awry. It really highlights how important it is to understand this complex system. But before we dive into those malfunctions, I'm curious, are there other defense mechanisms our bodies have besides the immune system?
Absolutely. It's not just the immune system holding the fort. Our bodies have evolved other remarkable ways to protect us. For instance, think about your skin.
Our skin. It's just our outer layer, right?
It's much more than that. Your skin is a waterproof barrier that secretes oils with bacteria-killing properties. It's your first line of defense, preventing most invaders from ever getting inside.
It's like our own personal suit of armor. What other defenses do we have?
Well, your lungs have mucus traps and tiny hairs called cilia that work together to expel foreign particles, which is why we cough when something irritates our airways.
That makes sense. It's how our bodies try to get rid of anything that doesn't belong there. What about the digestive tract? I know we have stomach acid, but are there other defenses there?
Yes. The digestive tract is lined with antibody-laden mucus and, as you mentioned, stomach acid. This combination can kill most microbes that try to enter through food or drink.
It seems like every part of our body is involved in this defense network.
It truly is a remarkable system. Even our skin, oil, saliva, and tears contain antibacterial enzymes, and the constant flushing action of the urinary tract and bowel helps to expel potential invaders.
Wow, I had no idea. Our bodies were constantly working so hard to keep us safe. With all these defenses in place, is there anything we can do to further support our immune system and keep those defenses strong?
That's a great question, and it's where things get really practical. While we can't control everything, there are certain lifestyle choices we can make to naturally boost our immune health. Both sources highlight the importance of a healthy diet.
So more than just grabbing an orange when I feel a cold coming on, what does a truly immune-boosting diet look like?
Think about a rainbow on your plate, a variety of fruits, vegetables, lean protein sources, and whole grains. The Cleveland Clinic suggests the Mediterranean diet as a good example of a diet that can support immune function.
That makes sense. What about exercise? Does that play a role in immune health?
Absolutely. Regular exercise is key. It improves circulation, which means immune cells can travel more efficiently throughout the body, patrolling for invaders, and it helps flush out toxins through sweat.
I've always wondered why I feel so energized after a good workout. Is that connected to the immune system at all?
It could be. Exercise has numerous benefits, including boosting mood and energy levels. And a healthy exercise routine tailored to your individual needs and fitness level can definitely contribute to a stronger immune system.
So diet and exercise are important. What else should we be mindful of when it comes to supporting our immune systems?
Well, weight management is crucial. Research has shown a link between obesity and a decline in immune function. Maintaining a healthy weight can significantly benefit your overall health, including your immune response.
Okay, so maintaining a healthy weight is important. What about sleep? Does that affect our immune system? I know I'm more likely to get sick when I'm not sleeping well.
You're absolutely right. Sleep is critical for immune function. When you're sleep deprived, your immune system doesn't operate as effectively. It's like running your body on low power. Everything slows down, including your defenses.
So making sure we get enough sleep is key for a healthy immune system. Are there any other things we can do to give it a boost?
Well, we've already talked about vaccines, but they're worth mentioning again. They're like targeted training for your immune system, helping it develop the tools it needs to fight off specific invaders.
And there's something else we should be avoiding, right?
Yes. Both sources mention smoking and tobacco use as detrimental to immune health. These habits increase the risk of conditions that can harm the immune system, like rheumatoid arthritis and lung infections.
So quitting smoking is a big win for overall health and for a strong immune system. We've covered a lot of ground here, and I'm already feeling more knowledgeable about my immune system. It's amazing to think about all the activity happening within us to keep us healthy. I'm curious about how it all starts. Where do these immune cells come from in the first place?
That's where bone marrow comes in. It's like the birthplace of all blood cells, including those crucial white blood cells we've been talking about.
So bone marrow is almost like a cellular factory, constantly producing these defenders.
That's a great way to put it. And not all immune cells are born ready for action. Some need further training and development to take on their specialized roles.
Interesting. Where do they go for this extra training?
One key location is the thymus, that small organ in the chest. It's essential for the development of T cells, a specific type of white blood cell that plays a vital role in acquired immunity.
So the thymus acts as a boot camp for these T cells. What exactly goes on there?
Think of it as a rigorous quality control process. The thymus ensures that T cells can accurately distinguish between the body's own cells and foreign invaders, preventing them from accidentally attacking self.
It's fascinating how the body has these checks and balances in place. So we've got these different types of immunity, innate and acquired, and now we know where the immune cells are produced and trained. I'd love to get a clear picture of how the immune system actually launches an attack when it encounters an invader. What happens step by step?
Okay, let's imagine you get a cut on your hand and bacteria enter through that opening.
Ouch, I can feel it already.
Your immune system senses it too, but in a much different way. The first responders are those cells involved in innate immunity, like macrophages and neutrophils. They're already present in your tissues, ready to engulf any invaders they encounter.
So they're like the security guards immediately on the scene. What happens next?
As these first responders are fighting off the bacteria, they release chemical signals calling for backup from other immune cells.
Like sending out an SOS.
Exactly. These signals attract more white blood cells to the site of the cut, including those specialized T cells we discussed earlier.
What role do the T cells play in this defense?
Well, some T cells, called helper T cells, act as coordinators directing the immune response. They release chemicals that stimulate B cells, another type of white blood cell, to start producing antibodies.
So each type of cell has its own specific task? What do the antibodies actually do?
Antibodies are like guided missiles designed to target and neutralize those specific bacteria that entered your cut. They can bind to the bacteria, marking them for destruction by other immune cells, or they can directly neutralize any toxins the bacteria produce.
It sounds like a well-coordinated battle plan, with each cell playing its part. Are there any other defense mechanisms that kick in?
Yes. You might also develop a fever, which is another way your body fights infection.
I've always thought a fever is a bad thing. Why would it be helpful?
A moderate fever can actually help the immune system work more effectively. It speeds up the production of immune cells and antibodies, creating a less hospitable environment for the invading bacteria.
It's like turning up the heat on the invaders. So once the immune system successfully fights off the infection, what happens next? Does everything just go back to normal?
Most of the immune cells involved will eventually die off, but some will remain as memory cells.
Ah, memory cells. Those are crucial for long-term immunity, right?
Exactly. Memory cells are like veterans of the battle. They remember the specific bacteria from your cut and can launch a faster and more effective attack if you encounter that same bacteria again.
So that's why vaccines are so effective. They create those memory cells without us having to go through the actual infection.
That's right. It's the principle behind how you might get sick with a certain virus only once, but then have immunity to it for life, or at least for a very long time.
It's incredible how our immune system is constantly learning and adapting, becoming more experienced with each encounter.
It really highlights the remarkable adaptability of our bodies. The more we understand how this intricate system works, the better we can support its function and protect our health.
This deep dive is making me appreciate my immune system on a whole new level. We've talked about innate and acquired immunity, the birth and training of immune cells, and how the body launches an attack. Now, I'd love to delve a bit deeper into those times when the immune system doesn't function as intended.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about autoimmune diseases?
As we touched on earlier, autoimmune diseases arise when the immune system mistakenly identifies the body's own healthy cells as foreign invaders and starts attacking them.
It's like a case of friendly fire, a misidentification of the target.
Precisely, and the consequences can be significant depending on which tissues or organs are targeted.
You mentioned examples like lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. Can
Yeah.
you elaborate on those a bit more? What exactly happens in those conditions?
Lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease that can affect various parts of the body, including the joints, skin, kidneys, heart, and lungs. It often follows a pattern of flare-ups where symptoms worsen, followed by periods of remission where symptoms improve.
And what about rheumatoid arthritis? I know it affects the joints, but what's happening on a cellular level?
In rheumatoid arthritis, the immune system primarily attacks the lining of the joints, causing inflammation, pain, stiffness, and swelling. Over time, this chronic inflammation can lead to joint damage and disability.